Look at Nevada from space at night. Las Vegas blazes in the south, a concentrated explosion of light pressed against the California and Arizona borders. In the far northwest, Reno glows more modestly, a secondary cluster hugging the Sierra Nevada. And between them, darkness, hundreds of miles broken only by the occasional spark of a mining settlement or the faint glow of a lonely gas station. Most people assume this divide is about geography. Desert versus mountains, the rain shadow effect, water flowing to some places and not others. But the real divide is not geographic at all. It is a single number, 46 of 63. That is how many of Nevada's state legislators represent one county, Clark County, Las Vegas. The rest of the state, 17 counties covering an area the size of New England, share the remaining 17 seats. Nevada did not drift into being 3 different states. The legislature made it official. If you find these hidden power structures fascinating, subscribe, because we break down how American states really work. Drawing the lines. So what are these 3 Nevadas? Southern Nevada is Clark County, 2.34 million people, 73% of the entire state, the Las Vegas machine. Northern Nevada is Washoe County, 498,000 people, about 15% of the population. Reno, Sparks, Lake Tahoe, and an economy increasingly shaped by California tech money flowing over the border. Rural Nevada is everything else. 15 counties with 736,000 people, scattered across an area larger than all of New England combined. Some of these counties have fewer than 1 person per square mile, and a few look more like the Australian outback than the rest of America. These are not just demographic clusters. They are 3 different economies, 3 different cultures, 3 different water systems, and they are governed by one legislature that one of them dominates absolutely. To understand how this power imbalance formed, we need to start with something absurd. 400 miles of abstraction. Nevada's state capital is not in Las Vegas. It is in Carson City, a town of 50,000 people located 400 miles to the north. Think about that. Every time the legislature convenes, Clark County's 46 representatives must fly or drive to a small mountain town to make laws for a state they can barely see from there. The drive takes nearly 7 hours, and the flight requires a puddle jumper to a regional airport. Once you arrive, you are in a place that feels nothing like the neon sprawl you left behind. One political scientist put it bluntly: lawmakers must have Las Vegas explained to them as if it was an abstraction. They are voting on bills about a city that might as well be in another country. This is not ancient history. The capital was placed in Carson City when Nevada was a mining territory, when rural Nevada was the state. Virginia City sat just over the mountain, generating more wealth per capita than almost anywhere in America. Carson City made perfect sense because it was central to where the people and the money actually were. But the population flipped, the money moved, and the capital never did. Now the state's political center physically sits in what amounts to a different world from its population center. The mining kingdoms. For Nevada's first century, rural counties were not powerless backwaters. They were economic engines. The Comstock lode discovered in 1859 triggered one of the great mining rushes in American history. Virginia City exploded to 25,000 residents, larger than many cities back east. Silver and gold flowed out of the mountains, and fortunes materialized and vanished in weeks. Even Samuel Clemens, not yet Mark Twain, lived there, writing dispatches from what felt like the center of the world. Mining towns held genuine legislative power because they generated the wealth. Every governor and every major policy was shaped by mining interests in small counties scattered across the high desert. Rural Nevada did not just have a voice. Rural Nevada was the voice. But here is what changed everything. Las Vegas did not exist as a real city until the 1930s. Before Hoover Dam, the spot was a railroad watering stop in the Mojave Desert, useful mainly because it had springs in a region defined by thirst. The dam construction boom created a population center where there had been nothing, and once that center formed, it never stopped growing. How one county captured a state. This is where the math becomes irreversible. In 1950, Clark County held about 45,000 people, less than 10% of Nevada's total population. The state was still rural, still oriented around mining and ranching, still governed from Carson City in a way that made intuitive sense. By 2000, Clark County had exploded to 1.4 million people, and over 60% of the state now lived in the Las Vegas Valley. Casinos, resorts, and entertainment venues had built a 24-hour economy that pulled workers from across the country and around the world. By 2020, the number hit 2.34 million. Nearly 73% of all Nevadans now lived in one county. One county absorbed 2/3 of all population growth in the state for 70 straight years. And in a representative democracy, population is power. After every census, redistricting follows. Each reapportionment shifted more seats to Clark County, and each shift weakened rural representation further. The math is relentless. It does not care about tradition or regional identity or the symbolic importance of the old mining towns. The result is that 46 of 63 legislators now answer to Las Vegas voters, not because of some conspiracy, but because of math. The representation correctly reflects where Nevadans actually live, but it creates a legislature that functionally governs 3 different states while only truly understanding one. 3 economies, 1 budget. The political divergence matters because the economic divergence is just as stark. Southern Nevada runs on gaming and tourism, 280,000 jobs in accommodation and restaurants alone. The wages are lower, the turnover is high, and the economy booms when times are good, but crashes hard when recessions hit. The Las Vegas Strip employs more people than some entire states, but those jobs do not build generational wealth. Northern Nevada has diversified into tech companies fleeing California's costs, healthcare systems expanding, and clean energy manufacturing. Tesla's Gigafactory in Story County alone makes that tiny jurisdiction an economic outlier, producing batteries for a global market in what used to be empty desert. Rural Nevada depends on mining and agriculture. The land produces gold, silver, and lithium, minerals that flow into the global economy. But mining is capital intensive, not labor intensive. Massive machines and a small number of workers extract enormous value, and the money flows through these counties without creating the jobs that build cities. Here is the brutal number. Between 2017 and 2022, urban Nevada grew 17.1%, while rural Nevada managed just 7.1%. Remove Tesla's Gigafactory from that calculation, and rural growth drops to 2.5%. Some rural counties, Esmeralda, Eureka, and Lander, actually contracted. The economies are not just different, they are diverging. And the legislature that controls tax policy, infrastructure spending, and economic development is dominated by representatives who answer to the gaming industry, not the mining industry. Policies designed in Las Vegas increasingly fail when applied statewide. One size fits all for 3 worlds. Education bills passed that improve counseling for college-bound students in a state where rural counties may have 1 high school, if that. Sometimes the nearest school is 50 miles away, and sometimes there is no counselor to improve. Healthcare mandates expand coverage options in counties where the nearest hospital is 100 miles away. Coverage means nothing if there is no doctor within driving distance. Water policy gets negotiated between Las Vegas's massive recycling infrastructure and rural aquifers that cannot replicate that system. Las Vegas returns 40% of every gallon to Lake Mead, while rural counties pump ancient groundwater that took millennia to accumulate and will never refill. The problem is not that legislators are evil or even negligent. The problem is structural. 46 of them represent an urban environment with urban problems, and 17 of them represent something completely different. When bills must pass statewide, the majority wins. An expert from the Center for Latino Prosperity said that Nevada is really a state made up of 3 different states: Northern Nevada, Southern Nevada, and Rural Nevada. She was not being poetic. She was describing how policy actually fails when applied uniformly to places that share nothing but a border. 3 states, 3 faucets. Every story about the American West eventually becomes a water story, and Nevada's is particularly strange because the 3 Nevadas do not even share the same water. Southern Nevada gets 90% of its supply from the Colorado River, 300,000 acre-feet annually flowing through Hoover Dam and Lake Mead into the Las Vegas Valley. The city has become a global leader in water conservation and recycling, with every drop that goes down a drain getting treated and reused. Lawns are being replaced with desert landscaping, and Las Vegas now uses less water per capita than almost any major American city, despite sitting in one of the driest places on the continent. Northern Nevada draws from endorheic basins, rivers that flow inland and simply end. The Truckee, the Carson, and the Walker start in the Sierra Nevada, run for a few hundred miles, then give up in the middle of the desert. There is no ocean outlet and no connection to the Colorado system. It is a completely separate hydrological world. Rural Nevada taps aquifers, ancient water trapped underground for thousands of years. These aquifers are being drawn down faster than they recharge, and wells that worked for generations are going dry. There is no Colorado River pipeline coming to save them. 3 completely separate water systems, with 3 completely different scarcity pressures, and 1 legislature making all the decisions. That legislature is 73% controlled by the region with the most sophisticated water infrastructure. 3 populations growing apart. The demographic futures are diverging too. Las Vegas is 33% Hispanic and increasingly Asian. The population skews young and transient. People chase casino jobs, work for a few years, then move on. There is constant turnover, and the city needs affordable housing, mass transit, and social services for a population that does not stay long enough to build deep roots. Northern Nevada is absorbing California tech workers fleeing Bay Area costs. They are older, wealthier, and more politically moderate. They want good schools, fiber internet, and proximity to Lake Tahoe. They are building a different kind of economy and a different kind of community. Rural Nevada is 40% or more white, aging, and shrinking. Young people leave for Reno or Las Vegas because that is where the jobs are. Those who stay often depend on mining revenue that funds 40 to 70% of some county budgets. When the mines close, and mines always eventually close, these communities face an uncertain future. These are not just different demographics, they are different futures. The same legislature is supposed to serve all 3, while the incentives point overwhelmingly toward Las Vegas priorities. Why change is nearly impossible. Nevada holds legislative sessions only every 2 years, 4 months of lawmaking, then nothing. It is one of only 4 states with a part-time, biennial legislature. This structure made sense when the state was small and governance was simple. A few mining towns, a handful of ranching communities, limited infrastructure to maintain. You did not need a full-time legislature because there was not that much to legislate. Now it means that representatives from 3 different regions must compress all their competing priorities into 120 days every other year in a capital 400 miles from the largest city. There is no time for the kind of regional negotiation that might produce tailored solutions, so everything becomes a statewide bill or nothing. Proposals to move the capital to Las Vegas appear every session and fail every session. Rural lawmakers know that losing Carson City means losing their last symbolic connection to state power. The capital stays where it has always been, in a small mountain town that fewer than 2% of Nevadans call home. The structure stays, the dysfunction stays, and Nevada continues functioning as 3 states forced into 1 legislature that barely has time to meet. Here is the truth the title promises. Nevada has already become 3 different states, not legally, not officially, but functionally. Southern Nevada operates as an entertainment economy with its own water system, its own demographic trajectory, and enough legislative power to get what it needs. When Las Vegas wants something, Las Vegas generally gets it. Northern Nevada operates as a satellite of California's tech economy, increasingly distinct from both Vegas and the rural counties. It is building its own identity, its own workforce, its own future, with just enough legislative representation to protect its core interests. Rural Nevada operates as a resource extraction zone, economically fragile, politically marginal, and slowly emptying as young people leave and older residents age in place. The land produces immense wealth in gold, silver, and lithium, but the people who harvest that wealth do not stay to build cities. The legislature does not unify these 3 Nevadas. It forces them to compete for the same pot of money, with predictable winners and losers. Whether Nevada should formally split is not really the question. The question is how long the fiction of one state can hold when everything else has already separated. Return to that satellite image, Las Vegas blazing, Reno glowing, everything else dark. Most people see geography when they look at this picture. Desert and mountains, climate and water, the rain shadow effect that makes one place habitable and another place harsh. But now you see something else. You see a legislature with 46 seats in the light and 17 seats in the dark. A capital 400 miles from the population it governs. 3 water systems, 3 economies, 3 demographic futures, all sharing one underfunded, part-time legislature that meets for 4 months every 2 years. Nevada did not choose to become 3 states. The math chose it, population growth in one valley, stagnation everywhere else, and a representative system that correctly reflects that imbalance while making it almost impossible to address. The question is not whether Nevada is divided. It is whether anyone will notice before the lights go out in the parts that were never very bright to begin with.